Hi, I'm Barry Mitzman. Here in Seattle, people know me as the host of a public television series called Serious Money. It's been on the air each week for nearly a decade. It's the only TV show devoted to the Northwest business and investment scene. And what a scene it is. This region is home to some of the most successful businesses in the nation, even the world. Businesses like yours. In high-tech, in retailing, in financial services, Northwest companies are innovators. Over the years, I've had a chance to interview many of the region's leading CEOs. I've gained insight into their business strategy, but I've seldom come across a business as unusual or as potentially important as the one I'm here to tell you about now. It's based right here on this 50-foot cruiser, the Investorship. Let's go below. This is the floating headquarters for Investorship Training, a small young company that has a unique approach to helping individual investors become more successful. It's not another pie-in-the-sky, get-rich-quick scheme. It's a serious, scientifically designed program that can help anyone develop the psychological skills, the habits of mind that can improve their performance in managing a nest egg and making it grow. We're flooded with investment information these days, but even though I contribute to it, I think most of it's just noise. The market's daily ups and downs are a distraction from the fundamental principles of sound financial decision-making. Too often the news plays on our emotions, and emotions of the moment make it hard to stay the course with a good long-term investment plan. We're unduly influenced not only by the media, but by other people, relatives, friends, business associates, all of them investment experts, at least in their own minds. Too bad they mostly contradict each other. In a way, being a successful investor is like being a good athlete. Both require skills and a mental attitude that allows you to focus your energies and stick to a plan despite lots of noise and distractions. Sports psychologists have studied the mental traits of high-performance athletes. Most pro and college players now go through some kind of mental conditioning program. Could similar training help to improve the performance of investors? From my experience, the answer is yes. Because I'm on TV, people come up to me all the time and talk to me about their investments, their successes, and their flops. I've learned that the biggest mistakes people make come not from a lack of investment information, but from letting their emotions interfere with rational decision-making. The key is developing the right mental attitude and being able to act on it consistently. That's what investorship training is all about.
How do we do it? How does this differentiate itself from any other?
Often held right here on the Investorship, it's unlike any financial seminar I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot. Investorship training provides the essential information needed for a solid personal financial plan. But more than that, investorship training provides self-understanding. Participants come to understand the attitudes and behaviors that may have hurt their investment performance in the past, and they learn to use that understanding to think and act more effectively, consistent with their own personal philosophy, goals, and tolerance for risk. Another thing that's unique about investorship training is the team that leads it, two men with truly outstanding qualifications. Paul Hayes has been a respected financial advisor in the Seattle area for a quarter of a century. He's dedicated to imparting the principles of intelligent investing.
And in fact, when people ask the question, who needs investorship training, I think the answer is probably almost everybody.
I've always been a believer that psychological influences are really the key influences in the market a lot of the time, and yet as investors and particularly as professionals, we're not really trained to cope with them.
We're going to show you today all the things you need to know to become a successful investor and to accumulate great wealth in the future. This slide shows a decline of 28% in the market value of some good quality holdings during the course of 1 year. 1 year can seem like a long time when it's viewed in the short term or in the context of that 1 year. But put it in the context of a meaningful period of a person's life, and that same 28% decline occurred during the time this graph shows $100,000 rising to $2,200,000 and some thousand dollars. That's a staggering reality, and it's enough to cause any thinking person to want to participate and put themselves in the path of that kind of growth. And you should, and you need to. And coming out of this class, you'll have the tools to do it.
When we think about highly successful investing,
Ron Smith is a professor of psychology at the University of Washington. He's an internationally known expert on human behavior and motivation. He's the author of 17 books, including a widely used text on enhancing human performance. Recently, I interviewed Ron and Paul to learn more about what investorship training can do for investors. Paul, how did you come up with this course, and what prompted you to collaborate with Ron?
Well, during 25 years as an investment advisor, I've come to realize that investments contribute to a person's wealth and the creation of wealth, but investments aren't the reason people accumulate wealth. The reason people become wealthy or accumulate capital is because of their behavior and their attitude relative to investing and their behavior relative to investments. And that said and done, everything in the financial markets is aimed at the investment and investing. There is no one that's really adequately equipped or qualified to deal with the aspect of human behavior. And that omission, which is so vital, made it essential to seek out someone like Ron, whose entire career and professional background is enhancing performance and enhancing human behavior relative to investing.
Ron, how important is psychology in investment success?
It's critically important. After all, investing is a form of behavior. And what psychology is all about is understanding behavior and its causes. From the perspective of a psychologist like myself, we have two things going for us in this area. First, we have over 20 years of research that has identified the psychological and behavioral factors that limit investor success. And secondly, we have a set of proven methods for helping people to enhance their performance that we can easily apply to this area.
So what does it take to be a highly successful investor?
There are several key factors, and each of them has gone into the planning of investorship training. First, in order to be successful in any domain, you have to know yourself. If you don't know who you are, the investment world is the most expensive place to learn. And for that reason, we use a variety of different methods to help investors learn about the motivational, decision-making, and personality factors that can cause very intelligent people to make very bad investment decisions. There are two other factors as well. One, in order to perform successfully in any environment, you have to understand that environment. And you have to have the psychological skills that are necessary to control how you think, feel, and behave when you're dealing with that environment. And so we teach people about critical aspects of the investment environment, and we also teach them a set of strategies that they can use to attain greater personal control over the behaviors that are needed to be a highly successful investor. We want our people to come away with a specific course of action and with the psychological skills needed to carry out that course of action.
Paul, what does investorship mean? It's a new word, isn't it?
It is a new word. Although the use of the word ship in a word is not new or novel, we use it routinely in our language to describe a set of ideals or qualities that refer to excellence in terms of an achievement or a behavior. For instance, scholarship, the best possible, the highest level of achievement in learning. Friendship, the best possible outcome of an acquaintance, craftsmanship, workmanship, penmanship, all dealing with excellence in a particular field. The term investorship goes on to beyond what the word investing or investor denotes. It really describes the highly successful investor or the qualities of highly successful investing.
So from your experience, what does it take to be a highly successful investor, to achieve investorship? Do I have to change my personality?
No, you don't.
Okay.
There are no single personality traits you can say that you have to be a highly successful investor. You have to understand your personality and be able to play to those strengths and to downplay those maybe areas that need to be downplayed. But when we look at highly successful investors that are all different types of personalities, we see that there are some very common qualities that they all possess. We call them the 5+1 investorship qualities. 5+1 is 6, but really the one stands on its own. When people think of what does it take to be a successful investor, they almost always think first of capital or money. And certainly it takes that, but that's last. That's the one that stands alone, that comes at the end. The other 5 qualities are the qualities that cause people to become successful as investors, and if a person has those 5 qualities, the capital takes care of itself. money flows in the direction of people that have those first 5 qualities.
Well, if I've been through investorship training, do I need a financial advisor at all?
You may. You not only may need one, but you may appreciate them all the more. Investorship training isn't intending to impart to people the analytical skills to make the in-depth investment decisions on which stock, which bond, what allocation should be made. It's designed to give people the skills to be a successful investor. And some of those skills may involve having the ability to select someone to guide you in that process that can make the individual investment decisions. It's maybe a little bit like a chief executive officer who realizes that they're ultimately responsible, but they hire a chief financial officer, they hire a chief marketing officer, or the captain of a ship who's responsible for the ship coming into the port, but who brings aboard a pilot to guide the ship in the harbor that they're familiar with. The captain doesn't know the intricacies of the port, but he understands the importance of hiring a good pilot who does.
It's hard for me to communicate the full value of this unique seminar program. I'm convinced that anyone can benefit from it and could see potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in added investment gains from applying the proven financial and psychological insights provided by investorship training. It's invaluable. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. The editor of Washington CEO magazine, Jack Main, has said that investorship training may be the best investor course ever offered. I'll second that. In charting your course toward financial success, investorship training could make the difference between drifting off course and sailing into port safe and sound. Don't miss it.